Good morning, everyone.
It's Sunday morning, and I've had 2 hours of sleep.
Oh, you told me less. On the record, you said less.
I wish I was still snoring.
He's counting all of his sleep for the past, 2 days.
Wish I was still counting sheep. If I had an hour or two with nothing left to do, I'd go to bed and tell the world, fuck you. You know the second verse?
No, it's okay.
It's Sunday morning.
All right, go ahead.
And there is work to be done. Sometimes it's boring. Sometimes my job is no fun.
I have to go to work today. So,
but I have to chase these dreams. So as silly as it seems, I'll plop my white ass down and make a podcast. I ran out of rhymes. I ran out of limes and rhymes.
Limes, rhymes, lines.
I was going with it too. I had a good flow, and then I lost
Mostly you ran out of times.
Times and rhymes.
So
sweet,
I would like
limes.
to say that it's a brand new year.
If this is the first podcast of the new year.
And that's exciting. Right. And the coolest thing is how, once again, which is, as is the case, because it's one day turning into another day, and it can't do much.
Turns on into them.
But it sure is the same world. So let's talk about it.
Yeah, dog. Welcome to 2020. Oh, fuck. I didn't realize I was starting 2022 so poorly. Welcome to this year of this shit with Forrest and Ben.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Maxwell trial is over.
Yeah.
That
what's going on? Tell me about it.
So I followed almost everything leading up to the trial.
Tell me the details. Like, what is it and why
I don't
is it
really
important?
know I got to look up and see what the actual final verdict was, but I think she got several counts of child trafficking, endangering minors and stuff. But basically Epstein. There's a lot of information out there about that you can go find. But essentially, Epstein was a guy with a lot of money, and he had a lot of power, and he was able to afford a private island, essentially, and all sorts of shady dealings and kid fucking went on this island.
Right.
That is true.
There's no conspiracy theory there.
Yeah,
this is a dude had a child, a pedophile island. This is a man.
This is a real thing that happened, and people try to, and this is my main point, which I think I wrote in the notes, but I'll circle back to in a second.
Yeah.
But people, this isn't my main point. People on either side are sitting here trying to find people on either side to say, look, they went to Epstein's.
Yeah,
and it's like nobody's bothered by the fact that everyone seemed to have gone to Epstein's.
Every goddamn buddy went to Epstein's Island. Yeah.
And she was she was his female co-conspirator essentially. She was the one from what I can tell, she would have been the one with a lot of the girls who would have been like, hey, come over here.
Yeah.
And I hate to simplify it, but the I've got candy bitch. She's the trap bitch, the honeypot.
Yeah.
She's fucking, she would help, coax them into it. And then once they're in, they're in. And then once they're on an island, God only fucking knows what's happening to them.
It's It's so crazy that when
and it's real, and it's not a one-sided thing. It's a very real thing that's going on, and it's kind of been going on in different circles of powerful people forever.
That really is the shit of it. Is that it is very real, and it's one of those things. You watch movies and TV shows.
You have to come up with all these theories about it,
right? You watch movies and TV shows and things about like shady politicians and business people and everything, and this horrible corrupt shit going on, and then somebody's gonna squeal, and so they just fucking wind up dead in a prison cell all of a sudden, and did all this weird fucking very obvious shit. And if you were to write,
Forrest, that's Hollywood.
What I'm saying is, if you were to write the exact details of this whole case in one of those movies or TV shows, people would say that it's fucking cliche and boring and impossible and nonsense.
Yeah.
And it's just so fucking real. And like, it's crazy to me just how clearly like cartoon levels of villainous this whole fucking shit is. And it's still controversial. And even if it was accepted, even if it were just nationally like understood, the way it like the fact that this is not something that everybody is still constantly screaming about is what blows me away. The fact that we found all of this and we were just like, yeah, that's about right, moved on, and now we're not arguing over whether or not it happened. We're arguing, well, you were a part of it and you were a part of it, not just screaming constantly, this actually was fucking a thing. Are we serious?
It's like still a thing.
These are literal
Epstein
real monsters.
is the one who had the island, and he killed himself in jail, right? Supposedly.
Yeah.
And then
at the only time when the cameras went out around his cell, and all the people assigned to guard duty to watch him also weren't there at that time. Yes.
I understand it's weird.
At the time, all those coincidental things happened.
Yeah, a lot of high...
And he also killed himself in such a way that is extremely difficult to do by yourself at the exact moment when the guards weren't around and the cameras broke.
So that happened.
Cartoon levels of fucking villainy. Like, that's what I'm saying.
He can't tell us anything. She told us some stuff, and there were witnesses at the trial. But like the scary thing is that the people who went and were there.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they can tell us more than they're going to. I'm sure they can pull travel logs and find out a lot more about different people who have been there, or at least may have been there. And like, you can't even assume that everybody who went there did shit, but like, that's where shit was going on.
Yeah.
And they all, like, so many
and don't
big,
fucking act like you didn't
people.
know what shit was going on when you were
they
there.
Went there and it's everybody's tainted, and so they're trying to fucking sweep it under the rug as fast as they can. And they do.
How many of you
people
fucking have pictures of this cunt in your wedding photos and at galas and things that you're hanging out and smiling and cheering and
I really feel like there's this whole we got him thing going on with this trial, and it's like, no, you didn't.
You fucking didn't.
All we've really done is like finally completely uncover this shit where we're like, it is that bad.
And that's that's something that has stuck out to me for a long time, is that there are. Oh, I've got a big old weird dangle fuzz hanging off.
Dangle fuzz.
These are monsters that live in the world with us. Is that they're people. You hear about these black rooms and red rooms and things on the dark web, and you think it's just too fantastic. It's too crazy. The people torturing people for money, killing people for money, people molesting and hurting children for money, and it sounds too crazy. It's this fantasy idea, and then you see this in your fucking face. Right here in front of you, and we're fucking supposed to just continue on dealing with this, continue on living, when it's the same thing as like, they're not even remotely comparable, but it's similar to like when the Panama Papers and everything came out.
Yeah.
When we see like, oh no, we all make jokes and assumptions that all these corrupt people, all these higher up people are so corrupt with their money. Here's the actual motherfucking proof that all these people are literally just screwing every human being over and just keep, it sure did happen, didn't it? And then we just move on to the next thing.
It's like, wow, that sucks.
Yep. Turns out we were all right about everything. Cool. Who are we voting for next, I guess? And it's the same shit. And now here we are with this. Oh, yeah, no, it turns out that this whole fucking, horrible pedophilia and insane sex islands off the coast, that's all real. Neato bandito. What's the next thing? Yeah,
what can you do about it?
Can we maybe raise minimum wage still? Can we work on that? Just fuck it. Why are we not just I think that was the second episode we did. Is that conspiracy theories are dumb because there's enough real shit to be fucking livid about.
Yeah, but when something big like this happens, the conspiracy theories just like glob onto it and make it all unrecognizable.
Mm-hmm. It's difficult, and also the fact that the word conspiracy theory is meant to,
What,
delegitimize
it's a loaded
truth.
Word.
Yeah,
terminology.
It's tricky, man. It's really fucking.
It's tricky.
It's very tricky, and fucking.
And some caffeine in my life.
Oh my god. There was a thing that I was grumpus about recently. So this is the second day of 2022 now. Today is right. Is it the second?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the UN and the World Health Organization in 2021 had intended to, by the end of the year, have every country on Earth up to a minimum of 40% vaccination. And new metrics showing, like, we're still in projection, we haven't finished measuring, but it's pretty obvious that we missed the mark by a lot, by like almost 100 countries, if not more. And guess what? Almost every single one of the countries that didn't reach the mark are lower income, poor countries. Almost every country in the global north, way more than 40% vaccinated. Almost all of Africa missed the mark. Swaths of East Asia, South America.
Is it because they don't have it, or is it because they?
It is because they mainly.
Well, I'm sure it's both, but is it because they're not?
Largely because they do not have access to the vaccine. They just don't have enough of it. And what blows is that these data are coming out now. These new measurements are coming out now, showing this problem. But we have plenty of reports from October through December of last year of the United States, other countries as well, but the United States is the main manufacturer of these vaccines, and we are destroying hundreds of thousands of doses because we don't want to give it away for free, and we have surpluses and they go bad. And so we make more than enough vaccines to cover these countries, and then they're like, well, are you paying us? No? Fuck you then. And they just rot on the shelves, and we dump them. And these other countries, in the global north, countries that we're allies with, they're like, oh yeah, give us some more. We're like, oh fuck yeah, go for it. Yeah, everybody else can wait. And what sucks is that equates to billions of people who are not being vaccinated and who are continuing to spread this virus. And the problem with that, obviously, is that if we are not protecting everyone, if there's anyone left unprotected, it puts everyone at risk, because
that's how it works.
You can cause mutations.
That's literally how
it's every single time that it spreads, it has a chance to mutate. And so just I'm gonna make a video about that probably today on TikTok about why greed has no place in public health.
It is kind of weird to say, it's weird that you can't just give away vaccines.
Yeah. It's
weird that you can't be like, well, we have enough for the people who can't afford it also, so let's get them as well.
It's like if your fucking house was on fire, and so you made sure to put out a couple of rooms, and then just you were like, we're done now. Like, what? What?
The other room
is still happening here, and so that's a whole thing.
I didn't like that room anyway. Just let that one room burn down. What the fuck?
Joe Manchin can eat my asshole.
You would get arrested for that.
For letting him eat my asshole?
No, you would get arrested for burning down one room in your
house.
house.
Yeah, no, for sure, most definitely. Yeah. Fuck Joe Manchin is the whole thing, though.
Who's that?
He's the senator He's a Democratic senator, and he is the one. We had the whole Build Back Better plan and all that, and we had bills to address climate change. I believe that was the same bill. And literally every Republican said no, and literally every Democrat said yes, and it was perfectly tied. And Joe Manchin was like, I just don't believe in it, and he's paid by oil companies, and so he voted no on the thing and just completely just shut down a bill that more than half the country is like, fuck yes, because climate change is a real deal. And he was like, nah, just not convinced of it. And he gets millions and millions and millions of dollars in the fossil fuel industry. And it's just, it's the same things we were talking about. It's just blatant corruption. If you talk to anybody on any side of the aisle, you talk to Democrats or Republicans, nobody fucking disagrees about how the system works. Right. Nobody disagrees that these people get fucking kickbacks from lobbyists and from big companies to vote a particular way. And there's a term for that in biology when somebody is paid to vote a certain way that doesn't necessarily meet what the people actually want. It's called corruption. And like,
it's a biological term.
Yeah. It's an old Galilean word. And like everybody fucking knows this. Everybody knows this. Everybody knows this. And the only reason it doesn't change,
it just keeps going,
is because, well, it also hurts the other side too. So like, fuck you, Democrats. Joe Manchin was fucking blatantly corrupt and hurt our whole democracy, but you didn't get your thing. So we win. And then we do the same, and I say we as in left. I don't mean not a fucking Democrat, but like they all fucking do the same goddamn thing. Just like, see, we used the filibuster and shut down the Republican spending bill, and then the rest of the time they're out here like, we gotta abolish the filibuster because it hurts voting rights. Yeah, it fucking does. Quit using it, cunts. Like, just, oh my god.
It is weird when they're like, they use filibusters and then also keep trying to make it so that you can't use it.
And they're like, it's a necessary evil today, we gotta do it to it. I'm like, yeah, no, sure, fuck you, though.
Like, filibuster the filibuster vote.
Just quit it. Like, god damn, man. God damn. How is that even a thing? A filibuster. Honestly. In an adult fucking society. In a society where grown-ass people are meant to gather in a room and decide what to do with the lives of hundreds of millions of other fucking people. How is one of the rules, I'm just gonna stand here and fucking go blah, 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 until you get so fucking sick of it that you just give up and go home. And if you give up and leave the room, you can't play the game anymore. And only I get to vote. How is that a real thing in a society of thinking humans?
Well, I bet at some point it probably like made sense. They were like, we gotta have a way for somebody to just like stall.
You can't make me stop talking. And until I stop talking, you can't make me stop talking. And there are filibusters on record where people read the newspaper, read Dr. Seuss, sit up there and recite the phone book, and fucking stenographer in the corner just writing it down. And then he read Green Eggs and Ham for 5 hours. And we put that shit in the Library of Congress. So generations from now, we can learn about this great legal proceeding. These great men and women who upheld our democracy. Fuck off.
It's really good that we did write it down, though.
Right, so everybody knows.
They know later. They're like if anybody tries to say like, oh man, they really knew back then, then we can be like, yeah, they knew what?
We made a motherfucking movie about it. Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Famous fucking movie about the great American ideals of Washington. It's a fucking cunt doing a filibuster and I'm gonna stand here and fight for this lost cause. Go vote! Then spread some different, do better flyers. Fuck off, like, ugh. This whole thing's a fucking joke and a half, and it blows me away that we're just doing it like it's normal.
It's pretty amazing. So we're throwing away vaccines.
Oh shit! The camera died. God knows how long ago.
No, it just happened.
Did it? Okay, well, I'm gonna get
You skip up there and you fix it.
Thank you for not interrupting me to make me do the thing. I appreciate it.
Up.
I'm on it.
No, you were on a roll, man. You couldn't be stopped.
It's hot as dicks in here, dude.
It's not that bad. You're wearing a robe.
I am wearing a robe. Is the camera dead?
Do you ever think?
What?
Oh, we do this like every time.
No. I was so careful.
It's not dead.
It's on. What? How does this happen?
Sometimes the screen turns off, remember?
Well, yeah, but that's only when I cover the little infrared sensor. I wasn't covering it. I was so careful.
It's very possible.
I'm going to take this shit off.
Yeah, baby.
I'm all heated.
Oh, yeah. Take it off in front of the camera, Forrest.
I'm so tired. And I'm all sweaty now. I'm going to be over here warm and angry. I need more tea.
Well... Yes. It's pretty frustrating.
I steeped this a little bit too long and my tongue feels
What's
like
this
fuzz.
global warming bill you're talking about? I don't know anything about this.
The Build Back Better plan?
These days.
The Build Back Better plan. I'm not. Man, I don't remember everything that was in it. I'll be honest with
you. I saw an article 2 days ago titled, "Finally, the U.S. is making some progress towards new climate change regulations." And that was the only thing I've seen about climate change in a very long time. Other than articles saying, like, we're in for doom times.
Yeah, all I remember, what's in the Build Back Better plan. So the only thing that I remember about it was that it had major climate change action in it, and I believe it had some other key points. I'm about to look it up, but I want to clarify before I look this up the reason why I'm so angry about it without fully understanding what it is, because that's bullshit to do, is strictly because this one dude has so much power, and because I know for sure it had a lot to do with climate change, and he's paid by oil companies. So that's the only reason why I'm grumping about this without fully understanding the bill. I'm not like, this bill is the perfect thing. I have no idea what it said. You know what I mean?
I said that. I said this bill is amazing, and they got rid of. I'm sure there's shit in there where it's like, we will take care of all the animals and plants, and also destroy the environment.
So here's the boilerplate here. It includes funding for COVID-19 relief, social services, welfare, and infrastructure, in addition to funds allocated towards reducing the effects of climate change. So it's specifically focused on climate change, infrastructure, welfare, social services, and COVID relief. Those are the main things that it's for. So every fucking thing that Republicans in this administration hate. And that right there is why Joe Manchin voted against it, specifically because of the climate change part of it. And so there are videos of him, and I talked about that a little while ago on TikTok. I made a video about it. There's several videos of people like following him around at night on the street, like hunting him down, be like, "Hey, dude, you're killing us. You realize you have to do so." And he's like, "Are you from my district? Because if you're not from my state, I don't need to talk to you." And like, what the fuck? We're Americans, first of all. And second of all, what if I actually am? And he's like, "Well, then set an appointment." Bye. And they're like, we keep trying to set appointments. Your office doesn't let us. Do the oil companies set appointments with you? Do you do the same thing with them? Or is it just us? And he fucks off. And there's this video of him walking... Nice. And these kids, these young people are following him like, "Hey, dude, you're hurting our future. You're like, you don't understand." And he just completely won't even give them the time of day, won't talk to them, won't acknowledge their existence. And then he goes through a locked gate that he has a key to, this special gate, onto a dock, a private dock. And while he's on the private dock, he turns around and goes, "Who's paying you? Who's paying you to ask me all this stuff about climate change? Who's paying you?" And they're like, "No one's fucking paying us, you clown. We're here telling..." And he goes, "Oh, whatever." And he walks away to his fucking yacht. And so he ignores these kids.
Nice.
And then goes through a keyed gate that only he has the access to, accuses them of being paid off, and then walks away to a yacht to escape their questions. And that is America.
The government.
That's a perfect fucking allegory for where we goddamn live. That is everything that's wrong right now.
Jesus Christ.
And so like anyway, I just fucking
what a wonderful time to be alive.
It's man, I genuinely believe that we're living through the revolution. We're starting it. We're in the time where things are about to get really fucking awesome. They're gonna get horrible. I'm not saying it's gonna be fun, but we're at a point now, a very serious tipping point, where I really, really think that our generation and the generation ahead of us has had fucking enough, and we're ready to fucking fix this shit. I think we're at that pivotal moment. Income inequality is fucking worse than it was in the Great Depression. Fucking the way that all of us are broke all the time, the state of mental and physical health care in this country, the severe lack of education and social services. Fucking here in Oklahoma, you like the life cycle of a fucking Oklahoman is you're going to be born in poverty, probably out of wedlock, which I'm not trying to push traditional values, but like there's social stability there. Yeah. You're fucking gonna go to a low income school because we pay property taxes, pay for our schools, so you're gonna be going to a shitty school because you don't live in a rich neighborhood. As you grow up, you can't fucking get a good education, so you can't fucking get a good job. We're in the best educated, lowest paid generation in American history. So even when you do get a good education, you can't get a good fucking job. You're gonna pop a tire on the way to work because our roads and our bridges fucking suck. You're going to get hurt at work because fucking these laws suck as well. We have terrible fucking. And then you're not going to be able to get help because you can't fucking afford medicine. So you're going to put these things off, probably develop an opioid addiction because you get, damaged and you need some help for some pain pills because you can't get surgery or anything to fix your actual problems. You're probably going to go to jail for that. And as the ACLU says, if you don't have a drug problem or a mental health problem when you go into jail, you will have one when you come out. So then you got that going on. And then you're going to die in a violent shooting because Oklahoma is way fucking an outlier in like there's a direct correlation. You can do a linear regression and draw a straight fucking line on a scatter plot between every state and like how lax their gun laws are versus how many fucking violent gun deaths there are. And sure enough, the more guns there are, the more gun deaths there are, because the same cunts who think that this is the fucking Wild West and the only way to stop a good guy with a gun is a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun.
It works both ways.
Also believe this is the fucking Wild West and they need to carry a gun fucking everywhere. Anyway, we're a huge outlier on that. We're way above the norm. And so you're gonna get fucking shot because it's easier to get a gun than it is to register to vote in this fucking state. And like that's Oklahoma. And I forgot why I started this tangent, but fuck this place is the whole thing that I'm saying.
He just hates Oklahoma.
Who doesn't? See, that's the thing, man, is that...
Well, I think having too much pride in a state is silly anyway.
The problem with Oklahoma is that it's Oklahoma in here, you know what I mean?
It's Oklahoma up in here.
Well, as we say in Oklahoma, I gotta get the fuck out of Oklahoma. Like, you know what I mean? That's... My whole life we've been saying it.
That is, a lot of people do say that.
Yeah.
There's, like, the only real benefit here that I can think of is, like, there's a little bit less people.
That's nice.
And the cost of living is, like, pretty low.
It's very
but
low.
So is the cost, like, you get paid a lot less.
You could buy a fucking 5-story mansion here in Oklahoma for the cost that you could fucking rent a refrigerator box in California. Like, that is true. But there's no income. So, like, you hit the nail on the head. You're going to make less. So it doesn't fucking matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
the funny thing about the way the system works is that it keeps the same people down everywhere, and it doesn't really matter where you live.
Statistically speaking, if you're born into poverty, you're going to die in poverty more than likely.
Unless you fucking fight.
Do something crazy.
Maliciously, like, hard to get out of poverty.
Exactly. And even then, a lot of
you might just die doing that.
You might just die. There's a reason why I think we have, from Oklahoma, the highest amount of celebrities come out of Oklahoma than anywhere else, I believe, especially in music.
It is a ridiculous... Yeah, we have a lot of musicians come out.
Because we just got to get the fuck out of here. And, like, it puts that fire in you, dude.
Yeah.
That's a huge amount of my ambition in life, is to get the fuck away from Oklahoma. I tell Amber every day, I'm like, I just don't want to die in Oklahoma. Because she's like, where do you want to move to whenever you finish your graduate program? We're talking about maybe I'll do my PhD in Germany or in London. They have really good programs. If I do a PhD, we're not sure. We're kind of figuring out. And I'm just, I don't fucking care. Just anywhere but here. anywhere but here. I got to get the fuck out of here. I don't want to die in Oklahoma. I just don't want to die.
He's going to leave me behind, y'all.
Even if, like, I went and lived somewhere else for my whole life and then came back to Oklahoma, like, to visit and got in a wreck and died here, that still means that total distance equals 0. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you'd be pretty upset.
I'd be pretty upset and dead, but I'd be more upset than dead, you know?
Yeah, I do believe that's true, what you just said, about being more upset than dead. Green eggs and ham. Now I will read A Cat in the Hat.
Yeah, you fucking smash that like button if you would enjoy listening to our podcast if we filibustered you and just fucking talked about whatever was in the paper that day and just read fucking the paper.
We shouldn't even tell them about this. You should cut this out. We should just make an episode called The Filibuster.
The Filibuster. And if it gets massive likes, then we'll change our stance. We won't do the
We'll start filibustering so much that politicians start just playing our filibusters during
their filibusters.
And they're like, Forrest and Ben are gonna filibuster this bill for me today. And they just turn it on.
Forrest and Ben, fuck democracy. Episode 38.
Professional filibusters.
Oh my god, we could be filibuster contractors. We just go into Congress and
I
just
gotta be honest, I hate the word
filibuster.
Filibuster.
I'm gonna bust up that fill 'em up and bust them down.
Filibuster.
Fill it filodo.
Doesn't matter how you say or what you say. It sounds weird.
It does sound weird. I like it. You know, it's cool, man.
Filibuster. But yeah. So Pedophile Island still exists.
Bust a nut in your mouth,
there you go.
son.
There you go. You made it horrifying. So, you know, yeah. I don't think we're. And here's the thing. When I saw the article that said that about finally making progress, I was like, okay, sure. And now I'm just like even more like, okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to do anything as a country about global warming or climate change.
Not right now, or not.
I don't think we'll do it until it's too late and we have to come up with some crazy plan. And we're already in a global conflict.
Have you...
So the rate of invention is increased.
Yeah. Do you fucking... did you ever watch there's a show on Netflix, it's a movie called Don't Look Up? Have you seen it?
Man, no, it sounds really familiar, but no.
It's with Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence, I believe.
Lawrence.
And the premise of the movie, if you don't mind me spelling it out for you.
No, it's fine.
Everybody
look out. Here comes a spoiler.
It's not real, like
it's
very obvious, the whole movie.
He's spoiling it.
And the description of the movie.
Giving it up.
What the whole plot is. But whatever. It's not supposed to be like a big hook twist. It's supposed to be an allegory. It's a piece about whatever. It's about these astrophysicists.
He's ruining it.
Yeah, scroll to the end of this if you don't want to hear this, I guess.
People love the show.
The whole point of the movie is that these two astrophysicists are looking up in space, just measuring what's going on, and they notice a giant comet the size of Mount Everest, like 20 kilometers across, coming straight for Earth. And this is a planet killer. All life on Earth will be destroyed in 6 months. And they try to tell the world, and the whole world's like, meh. And like just it goes into like there's politics in it, and like, oh, we're not gonna do anything, and like actually it would look really good on the re-election trail for the midterm, so we should probably do something, but we're gonna partner with Google instead of with you, and we're gonna and like it's this whole, and then they get on like entertainment shows and they're like, come on, this is really bringing me down, like oh what's the comet really about, you know, oh you're the sexy astrophysicist, you're not that fun on camera, you need to go away, and it's just all this fucking, and then they have like a concert for it, and everyone's like, yay, and then they all just fucking leave, and they don't care, and there's the fucking the MAGA people out there with fucking like, don't look up, don't look at the comet, just don't look at the sky, they're the liberals trying to lie to you, and so it's this fucking beautiful fucking like allegory of everything going on in America especially, but really the whole world, and the way that politics play out and the way that news is handled. Yeah. And of course, it's a direct comparison to climate change, what it's supposed to be about. But this was made, or this was starting to be produced before the pandemic. And it's also a beautiful allegory for the pandemic when you look at it. But definitely go watch it. I haven't given any major ending spoilers. This is all shit you can see in the trailer. But
spoiled it.
Just spoil it on down. But go watch it, because it's fucking great. And it's infuriating with just how very really accurate it is. It's nuts, dude.
It's pretty cool. You know what I get tired of people saying? It's like Idiocracy.
Oh my god. Everything's compared to that movie, and for good reason.
It's fine, but it's not. We're actually not there yet.
They did a great job in that movie of really making a hyperbole that was very fitting.
That's like 100 years, you know. We got maybe 100 years.
We got a little bit of time.
Hit that.
I think Terry Crews, during the Trump presidency, Terry Crews actually made a public statement like, "Hey guys, I made this character to be a joke. We didn't actually need this. We weren't trying to do that on purpose for real."
Yeah, you did.
Like, ugh. God.
But it sucks because, like, people say that. They make that comparison, but then nobody ever makes the leap that, like, maybe they fit in.
Are a part of that. It's like when people say something's Orwellian.
We're all... Yes.
Yeah. Everything's fucking Orwellian. And a huge part of the... You know, because they're talking about 1984. They're not talking about Orwell's other works, first of all. And, like, but... They mean to say anything that's government control, anything that's this, anything that's that, anything that's mass liberal, control. Anything that's conservative, anything that's whatever. And it's like the whole point, a huge part of the book was about recodifying language and putting in doublethink and like making you think that everything bad and the enemy was and like the way that you're painting with broad brushes right now and using this language incorrectly is actually Orwellian, funny enough. And, like, you need to fucking quit it.
It's like the whole point of the fucking story.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Yeah. It's like, well, because they say it. They didn't read it.
Right, exactly. That's what I was saying. 1984 is when the government did bad stuff, right?
What? Like, I read a little book called A Brave New World. You can find a bunch of shit in there that's like scary if you want to.
The amount of people,
you can realize that it is just a story.
When I talked about how we're able to make sperm cells out of bone marrow and egg cells out of skin cells, and like how we're able to like maybe start actually like making humans in a lab for infertile couples and things. The amount of people like, oh, it's Brave New World. That's just like Brave New World. We can't do that. Like, yeah, that shit wasn't Brave New World. That wasn't the fucking scary part, you idiot. What is it? What? It's like drugs were also in Brave New World. We're not fucking out here like every time somebody gets a high, like, oh, that's Brave New World, you guys. Oh my God. Like, that's not the point of the book, you see? Like,
And even if it is the point of the book, it's still a book.
It's still a goddamn book.
One of millions of books.
That is a great idea. That is not the goddamn gospel. Like, fuck, bro.
Like, it's
and half of you cunts that are saying these things aren't fucking taking the lessons of All Quiet on the Western Front. You're still supporting fucking militaries and wars and shit. You aren't taking the lessons of fucking... I don't know, what's another famous important work that comes off the top of my head that I'm blanking now because I have to think of one and I'm on the spot. Fucking Dagon. We're not out here fucking being careful of giant Promethean fish monsters and their fucking obelisks.
We probably
That's
should.
What we need to be focused on.
We probably should actually be worried about that now that you bring it up.
That's just the first other book that came to mind.
I don't know what a Dagon is, but I know that if it's called
It's my
Dagon,
favorite book by H.P. Lovecraft, and it's about this it's a very short story. You can read it in an afternoon. Like, it's 10 pages long, and it's about this dude, and he's lost at sea. I think he escaped from like a German fucking warship, and he's out in a little boat. And he passes out, and there's this big storm, and like a chunk of the ocean floor gets like thrust to the surface by some volcanic activity or something. And so he's on this expanse, brand new island of just rotting fish and muck. and he goes out across the landscape just trying to find like anything to see, and he climbs up this cliff. And he looks down, and he gets down, there's this deep valley in this area, and he goes down at night, and he can't see anything. It's just totally inky black down in there. And when the sun starts to come up, he notices that in the middle of this valley is this massive fucking obelisk with all these intricate carvings all over it of all sorts of different fish and sea creatures and hieroglyphics that he's never seen before. And also these, like, sort of anthropoid, these men-looking things that are kind of strange.
People.
These fish people, but they're obviously like the scales are wrong because the shows the fish people like fighting whales and they're the same size, and that can't be right. Maybe it's mythological. And then as he's sitting there pondering this fucking massive fish person that's like 10 stories tall comes up out of the water and like grabs the obelisk and is like, blah, blah, and he just fucking loses his shit and runs. And then the island sinks, and he gets rescued, and everyone's like, "Where's no island?
Yeah,
we never saw the island."
Nobody fucking believes him.
That's fucking
usually,
great.
Yeah, like
novel,
Lovecraft shit, where all of a sudden they're like fine and they're safe. And nobody's like
nobody believes their shit.
Believe the thing that they just saw.
I love the way that Lovecraft writes, because he's
Lovecraft is an amazing author. He
double-digit adjectives.
Totally
in the same
afraid
sentence.
of everything.
Oh, he was a fucking horrible racist.
That's why his writing was so good, which is fucked up.
Isn't that the funny thing? Is that his fear of cultures brought about it?
Yeah,
it's like, oh my god. Maybe there's also Squidman. There's these Chinese.
Well, it's like, because you have to figure, like, is this how he just sees people?
Yeah.
And it's like, kind of. But for us, we can say, also just the amount of inspiration you can draw from his literature to make other shit.
Yeah, well, he also
he did make like kind of a universe.
Yeah, well, during his life, he would write to other famous authors and be like, "Hey, put my shit in your stories too. Talk about Cthulhu, talk about Yogg-Saron, and talk about all and Azathoth and whatever. Just write about these things, and so that we can make this tangled web of lore." And he wanted to make it seem like it might be real, and like, why are these different people thinking the same thing at the same time? And shit.
Which is a really, I mean, that's
fucking brilliant.
That's dope.
It's awesome.
Nowadays, companies hire like teams and teams of people for movies and games and shit.
It fooled me when I was a kid. I thought the Necronomicon was a real book. I didn't realize it was a made-up thing. I thought it was actually like this fucking crazy thing out there that like somebody made movies and books out of. But I thought surely. It's so fucking cool, dude. It's so fucking cool. Lovecraft, y'all. Fucking Lovecraft. Did you ever watch Thug Notes?
Yeah.
He did. Yeah. Thug Notes did one on him. I think it was on At the Mountains of Madness. It's like, because Lovecraft is all about setting the mood. The whole plot and then climax and then story arc and all that thing is he's more interested in like setting the mood and the story and warming up the oven and all this stuff. It's like Lovecraft, you know what I'm saying? I love that so much. Oh man. We're about at time.
Yeah, I gotta go to work.
Yeah.
Thug Notes is good.
Yeah, if you don't watch Thug Notes, you've got to. It's on YouTube. It's by a channel called Wisecrack. Wisecrack is amazing in general, but Thug Notes is far and away my favorite series they ever did. And you should go watch that if you're interested in literature and general awesomeness. Thank you so much for tuning in to the first episode of I'm Not Comfortable With This of the new year. Worst podcast on the internet since 2021, and
holy shit, we did it.
Gonna make it into 2022 now.
2023, here we come.
2020s are happening.
Yeah, let's get to 2030 already. You know what I'm saying?
Fuck this decade. Fuck this decade. All
right.
Have an awesome rest of your day. Thanks so much for tuning in. We're gonna post this in an hour and a half. So when you start hearing this, we usually put these up at 1 o'clock.
Ben will be at work. And I will be preparing for 2 different live streams I'm doing tonight. So you need to take a long slumber. I might take a little nap. Fuck nap, the live streams. You're killing yourself. But I'm making money. Killing yourself for the people who... Poorly. I'm making it poorly. Have an awesome rest of your day, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Bye. Bye. Sorry, I'm sleepy. We have big plans for the future.
Big old plans.
World domination type shit.
Hey, what's the difference between jam and jelly?
This is a question? Or
I'm asking you. What's the difference between jam and jelly?
Hang on. Jelly, jam.
It is a joke. You don't have to actually.
Jam is, no, I can do it. Fine, what's the difference?
I'm not about to jelly my balls into your mouth once we turn off this camera, son.
No, there's an actual difference.
No, there is. Jam's better.